Am I the idiot for telling my sister-in-law why I've missed her wedding ceremony? I, female 24, have a brother who is getting married to Victoria. Female 25, Vic and I have a very good relationship. Last year, my brother proposed. Vic took the lead for all the wedding preparation because she is taking a gap year between jobs. My brother easily supported both of them and the wedding. So whenever we have questions about the wedding, she is the person we need to talk to. Important background info. I'm allergic to nuts and coconuts. I don't need an EpiPen, but I have massive diarrhea. Last time I had a reaction, I was so dehydrated I needed to go to the hospital. For the wedding day, we have a caterer planned for an only family brunch, then it's the ceremony, and then we have a celebration with all the guests. So for the meals at the wedding, I texted 2 months in advance to Vic to ask if I would be able to eat, and told her my specific food allergies, in case she forgot. I told that if not, I would be able to bring my lunch and eat amongst everyone without any problem. It's something I do sometimes at big family gatherings, because I don't expect everyone to be extra careful every time for me. Vic told me that everything should be fine. 4 days before the wedding, I texted again to be sure, and she said that the menu does not contain any of my allergens. Wedding day, on the family brunch, I started to feel bad in my tummy. I privately asked the chef if anything contained any nut/coconut, and hold and behold, the sauce for the egg contained coconut. I excused myself and went back home, 20 minutes away from the venue. After this, well, you can imagine the toilet became my best friend. I spent the next 5 hours on the toilet. I texted my brother to excuse myself, that I won't be able to come to the ceremony and I would try to come to the celebration. So around 8 hours after the brunch, I was able to go back to the celebration. I gave my wedding toast to my brother and after, Vic came to me and asked why I was absent from the ceremony. I told her that the brunch did contain coconut, and I spent the whole day on the toilet. I'm glad I was able to come back to the ceremony, and did not need to go to the hospital. She then left back to my brother and spent the rest of the evening talking to guests. Next day, I've received many texts from my brother, saying I was an SSH to tell her during her wedding day that she was responsible for me being sick and that I should have told her some lies to make her happy. He told me she cried the whole wedding night about this. Since then, I've received texts from family members, friends, bridesmaids, who called me an *SS for ruining her wedding night. I'm starting to believe was an *SS and should have said to her a false reason explaining my absence during the ceremony because it ruined her evening. So, am I the idiot? Should I have lied to her? Now for a few comments before the update. It was important to let her know the truth. If she had caterers who promised not to use an ingredient, and then they did, she needs to figure out why this happened and maybe get something credited back. Someone could have died. Her emotions were aimed at the wrong person, not the idiot. Then the original poster responded with, "This is a really good point. Right now, sister-in-law and my brother are in low contact with me, but it is something I'm going to investigate further." Comment 2. Not the idiot. Her reaction is not your responsibility, unless you told her directly, or passively, that it was her fault. Then the original poster responded with, "She may easily blame herself for it, because she was the one organizing the whole event and therefore, chose the menu. But I didn't say explicitly that it was her fault or her mistake." Now for the update. 4 to 5 days after the wedding and the Reddit post, after all of those comments and reflections, I've texted my sister-in-law. I said that I was sorry that everything happened the way it did. But I was not wrong to tell her the truth, and this whole situation could have been very dangerous. I did my part by asking her about the allergies, and even with that a reaction happened. But I do feel sad that she passed a bad night indirectly because of me. Victoria called me after my text and said she understood my situation and the fact it could have been very dangerous. She assured me she called and emailed the caterer informing them of all the allergies and food requirements. She said then that a part of her is mad at me because she thinks I should have told her the next day, but it's on her to work on that and to process those feelings. When she came back from her honeymoon, we investigated this. After many calls, we found the problem. The caterer has 2 sub-teams. The main one, supper, was the one Victoria informed about the food requirements. It was their responsibility to inform the morning team about it. It's actually impossible to contact the morning team directly. All the administration is on the main/supper team. One of the workers of the morning team sent us their email stating all the food requirements, and surprise, surprise, the coconut was absent. So the lady in the main team whom Victoria was working with miswrote the email and forgot to state about the coconut to the morning team. Plus, coconut is not considered a common allergen, so it is rarely written on the menu pamphlet. The catering, to excuse themselves, reimbursed the whole bill for the morning and supper. It was a very fancy catering business, so the bill was quite high. They even gave an additional sum for me, at the condition we don't sue. Victoria left me with the choice. And I chose to take the money. I know there is a possibility to get more if we sued, but in the end, no one died and I didn't want to go through a whole suing process. Plus, this whole situation could have been avoided if I went to the chef beforehand, so in court that would have played against us. My brother and Vic did a whole post on their wedding Facebook group about this situation. They said that the incident was not their fault, nor mine, but the catering business who took responsibility for their action. After it, many of the family members who wrote insults excused themselves about their comments. My brother is still bitter about this situation and still thinks I could have simply waited a day before telling the bride about the incident. But Vic and I are closer now than we were. So this is a happy ending. And I can only wish the catering will learn their lesson and create a better system for allergies. And for now, I will always double check with the catering business on next weddings. Comment 1. As many people have pointed out in the original post, your brother needs to be thankful that his wedding didn't end with a funeral. Vic sounds way more mature than him. I'm sure you know that some forms of allergy can lead to an intensifying reaction with every exposure to the allergens. I'm also guessing you were on the toilet alone, and could have dehydrated and gone into cardiac arrest from lack of electrolytes with no one around to help. Your brother needs to get over himself and appreciates still having a sister. Then the original poster responded with, Vic was very mature and thoughtful in this whole situation after. She took my defense early on when she learned all the comments I had from my family. But yeah, my brother doesn't let things go easily. I think the bride and the groom should not have any negativity during their wedding, and because the situation was done and no one was hurt or dead, she didn't need to know right away. My mother is actually on my side and thinks he is acting like a child, because he is still giving me cold shoulders. Work in progress. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Seriously, you're the idiot here. Your sister-in-law went above and beyond to accommodate your allergies and even communicated with the caterers to ensure the menu was safe for you. It's not her fault that there was a mistake on the part of the catering team. You should have waited until after the wedding to discuss the issue, instead of ruining her special day. Your selfishness is astounding. And now you've taken money from the catering business as well? You're just looking for a payout. Your brother is right to be bitter. You've caused unnecessary drama and tarnished what should have been a joyous occasion. Grow up and take responsibility for your own actions. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for telling my parents I can't take my sister from foster care for 2 months? I, female 22, have a younger sister, female 18, who is aging out of foster care. I had the luck of being adopted, whereas she did not. She had an arrangement to stay with her foster parent, though to my knowledge the foster parent suddenly changed her mind despite charging her money to stay there right now. She's set to need somewhere to go by August, but my lease ends in November. I currently have a female 25 roommate who isn't comfortable living in our 2-bedroom apartment with someone she's never met. My parents, who have 2 guest bedrooms, keep insisting that I need to entirely disregard my roommate's opinion, despite her being on the lease and paying her share of rent every month, that I simply have to tell her my sister is coming and she has no say. My roommate and I have already considered other options, sorting out a new apartment, and have it ready by August. This isn't feasible because she can't be on 2 leases. I can't afford this one alone, and my little sister will need several months to become financially stable enough to pay bills like rent. I am physically unable to carry her financial weight. We are willing to get separate leases come November, where I can then take in my sister, granted my parents are willing to step in if she doesn't have the money because again, I am not in a position where I can keep her afloat, but I have been insistent that it can happen until then. As a result, my parents are calling me selfish and telling me that I'm choosing my friend over my sister, who desperately needs my help. I am frustrated because if they are that upset about it, they can spare a bedroom. After all, they are the one making the demand that I have to take her. That's what makes sense to me. Regardless, am I the idiot? Edit. A lot of people have asked, so I'm just going to put it here for context. The parents in question are my adopted parents. Our biological parents are dead. The only reason we ended up split up in the foster care system was because the state made a mistake only removing me from the home before our bio parents died, and by the time they realized this, the bio parents had fled the state with my siblings. They died 8 years later, which is when my siblings ended up in foster care. Not to mention, until I found them and made contact, the state they were in didn't even know I existed. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your current roommate has legal rights and adding another roommate is also up to the landlord. Have you looked into that? Then the original poster responded with, she has no credit or income, so if we tried to add her they'd deny her pretty fast. But yeah, she does have legal rights and she said no, so it's just the whole what TF do we do with her for 2 months. Comment 2. I need some more information. When you say parents, you mean your adopted parents, right? What is their relationship like with her? What about you? Why would they take one kid but not another? Then the original poster responded with, yep, my adopted parents. Ultimately, I have a good relationship with her, even if it is over sparse visits and text/FaceTime. I am probably closer with her than my parents are, but they have tried to be involved, so it's baffling to me now that they aren't willing to lend a bedroom for a couple months and trying to make me do it when I am unable to. Edit. For context, we were separated as children. I was the only child placed in foster care, and by the time the state realized they fricked up, my bio parents had already fled the state with my siblings. They only ended up in foster care later because their parents died. My message got wonky, sorry, so I'm just slapping my OG explanation here. My other sibling has other arrangements, as she's aged out for a while and is doing well but also can't take her, and my other hasn't aged out yet. He's severely autistic and none of us have the ability to give him the constant care he needs, so when he ages out that will also be tricky. Now for the update. Hi guys, this is a pretty simple update, but for starters things have somewhat resolved themselves without much from me, which is one huge relief. Essentially, I urge my little sister to continue to look into other things, contact her social worker, utilize the resources that some of y'all, my roommate, and I found. I informed her of just about everything I could, transitional housing, etc. Then, I ended up telling my parents something that I think got through to them, which was in a sense that I am trying to live my life, get my education and start my career, and that can't happen if I'm responsible for her. Truthfully, taking her on with or without my roommate's approval would have been so much more than the risk of eviction, which yes, it's in our lease. Sorry I didn't get back to some of you on that. It would have been the financial stress of taking on a kid, legal adult, but she is still a kid, who doesn't know how to handle bills and general budgeting, would have no transportation, we don't live near buses and Ubers are a good $40 here, no money, etc. I love her, I care for her, but the point was made to my parents when I emphasized that I'm worrying about me right now. I've lived with people who don't pull their weight, and as much as I sympathize with her inability to, I'm not in a position where I can take that responsibility on again. I'm not sure what about it got through to them, but it did, and they backed off. They agreed. They're offering to get her an apartment and help her find a roommate, while covering her rent while she adjusts. They had their own valid reasons for not wanting her in their house, and if things go well with her, they'd cover her transportation to school/work until they would get her a car. The plan is to essentially slowly work her up to paying for everything, and it's ultimately a good situation for her. She has 2 plans lined up right now, both feasible, each with help from willing parties, and they have left the ball in her court. Comment 1. You're the idiot. Wow, you are incredibly selfish and self-centered. Your sister is about to age out of foster care, and instead of stepping up to help her, you prioritize your own convenience and your roommate's comfort. Family should come first, and you clearly don't understand the meaning of that. Your parents are right to call you out on your selfishness. It's their responsibility to take care of your sister, not yours or your roommates. Your excuses about leases and finances are just that, excuses. You're just looking for an easy way out. Your sister deserves better than a sibling who abandons her when she needs help the most. I hope your parents find a way to support her and give her the love and care she deserves, despite your lack of empathy and compassion. Comment 2. I hate how the foster system just ages out a kid. That usually means prison. You amaze me that you could pull together such a great plan for her. I hope she has enough strength and self-worth to accept. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.